Hi everybody! Welcome to week 2 of English 1020 Online. In this week's video, I want to talk to you a little bit about our weekly schedule. I'm going to go over a couple of things of logistics that have to do with the class, and I'm going to point out a few things that your peer mentor posted on our Canvas site. After that, I want to talk a little bit about some of the content you guys will be going through this week, and I think that'll do it for our week 2 video. So let me pull up Canvas and we'll get started. Okay, so right now we're looking at the home screen in Canvas. And just a little bit moment of logistics here. When you're looking at your home screen, you should be able to see and access everything you need for that week, except perhaps for the chat or if you need to open a document separately. So in other words, every assignment for that week, every video can be found starting from this screen. I'll show you an example, okay? So here we are, we're working on project 1, the rhetorical analysis. You guys have already gone through your week 1 activities, which was awesome. Air fives, good job guys. And so here we are at week 2. And if you click on this page that says week 2 activities, it will take you to an overview for the entire week. This is where you will see everything from a quick 1-sentence summary of our work. This week we'll get into the concept of argument, and you will read my favorite chapter about writing process and using multiple drafts. You can also see on this week 2 overview a bulleted list of all of the assignments, the things that you'll need to watch, like your week 2 instructor video, which you're already doing, so good job. Mini lessons, our little vid that's posted towards the end of the week. You'll see a bulleted list of everything you need to read with appropriate links if you need to get to that PDF. And you'll see a bulleted list of things that you need to write, including chat check-in number 2, your second digital journal, and your project builder number 2. Now, if you're a visual learner like me, I've also set up the week's assignments in this handy little weekly calendar so that you can kind of see visually, nice and laid out, my suggested schedule for how to go through all of these assignments. So remember, this is suggested. In order to thrive in the class, it's important to break things down into manageable chunks. So I suggest that by Wednesday, you watch this video, read your chapter in your textbook, and tackle the chat check-in. Now, this week, we're kind of on a pushed back schedule because of Labor Day. But by Wednesday or Thursday of this week, you want to try to do these first things. So that by Friday, or thereabouts, you can watch the mini lesson about types of arguments, read my favorite chapter in Anne Lamott's book, Bird by Bird, called Shitty First Drafts, and do your digital journal. We'll talk for a minute about digital journals, but let's get through the schedule first. Then by Sunday, you want to be concluding by watching the little vid. You want to be on a second read through of your chosen article, and I'll talk about that also in a second. But we want to be reading it at least 2, maybe even 3 times to really fully be able to analyze it appropriately. And reading that article a second time is only going to help you complete your summary assignment for Project Builder 2. Okay, so this is our weekly overview. You can see here that the link for the week 2 instructor video is not live yet. That's because I'm making it right now. But I will link to it as soon as I get this posted. Now, you can get back to your home screen 2 ways. First of all, you can click on the home button and that will take you back. Or if you want to dive right in and get into the assignments, you can hit this next button at the bottom. This next button is going to take you straight into the first writing assignment, which is this updated chat check-in number 2. Now, because we discovered last week that you can't post pictures to the chat. I had to revise this, and it's actually got a place here where you can submit an image. So I've asked you to annotate your chosen article for the rhetorical analysis and just post a photo of it. So when you hit submit assignment, that will take you to a place where you can upload your image. Plus, I'd also like you to, since it's a chat check-in on the chat and make sure that you're talking with your classmates. All right, we want to leave that page because we're going to go on to DJ number 2, digital journal number 2. Now, I got several questions about this first prompt. It's not always going to be here, but on the weeks that we're focusing on responding to readings, I'll always have this first prompt that says what question, problem, or conversation is at the core of the readings. How do these texts, meaning the week's readings, overlap, connect, and interact? So this first prompt is asking you to think about all the things that you've read in a given week. For example, this week, I've asked you to read chapter 9 in your textbook, and I've also asked you to read Anne Lamott's Shitty First Drafts. I've also asked you to read through your article one more time. So thinking about this, what connections can you see? Can you compare and contrast across these readings to find some kind of thread? What binds them together, or why did I assign them to you this week? The second prompt is usually going to be a reflection prompt. That's why oftentimes on the schedule you'll see DJ number 2, respond and reflect, because I have 2 prompts. The first one is to respond to the reading. The second one is to reflect on some aspect of your writing process. So here you can see I'm asking you to think about the most difficult concept so far in our class. We're only two weeks in, a week and a half in, but just try to think about, is there anything that's tripping you up? Project 1 is super front-loaded, meaning I am giving you a lot of little assignments. We're talking about a lot of vocabulary. I'm throwing mini lessons at you. We're talking about weird words that maybe you've heard before, maybe you haven't, but we're talking about rhetoric, rhetorical situations, we're talking about analysis. There's all kinds of things that we're trying to get up to speed with, but it won't always be like this, because the foundation that you can build in Project 1 is going to carry you through the rest of the semester. So keep your head up, keep your eyes and ears open, and please shoot me an email if you have any questions. Now, at the end of our week, I'm asking you to write a summary of the article that you've chosen for Project 1. Now, I'm sure a lot of you already have a lot of experience with summary assignments. This is like a practice summary. It just shows me that you can perform a summary and that you have a competency in it, so that if anyone was struggling, I could help you before it gets to the point where you need to summarize for your big project. Okay. So Nicole, you keep talking about the article that you're supposed to work with for Project 1, and a lot of people were a little confused by this, so I'm going to show ya. Back last week, in week 1, under the overview, you'll notice that there's this little, oops, let me try that again. You'll notice that there's this little document called Articles for Project 1 Rhetorical Analysis. And if you click on this puppy, it's going to open up a Word doc that has choices, several different essays and articles pulled from The Atlantic or The New Yorker or similar kinds of opinion piece type feature magazines. These are all options that you guys can choose. You don't have to choose them all. You actually just need to choose one of these articles. And whatever one you choose, for example, Toni Morrison's The Work You Do, the Person You Are. If you choose this article, this is what you will be analyzing in your rhetorical analysis paper. If you choose How Facebook Fake News and Friends Are Warping Your Memory by Laura Spinney, that will be the article that you will be analyzing in the rhetorical analysis. You follow? You follow. All right, shoot me an email if you don't follow. So if you click on any of these links or paste them into your browser, it will take you straight to those articles, and that is what I want you to read and annotate for chat check-in number 2. And it's what you need to be working on your second reading of so that you can get really familiar with it for your project 2. Okay. So I think that takes us to talking about 2 things. I want to talk about the video schedule. So you guys will see this video today, which is Wednesday. Usually I will post the weekly video every Tuesday. That's when I have my office hours. I'll be coming at you live from the Maccabees building, or not live, recorded, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. So the videos will usually go up on Tuesday unless there is something in our schedule that kind of throws it off, such as this week we had Labor Day, the long weekend, so that kind of pushed me back a day. Around Thanksgiving time, we might have to do a little bit of maneuvering with the weekly video. We'll just have to see. But usually check for a video on Tuesdays. Okay, last thing, and then I want to talk a little bit about our reading for this week. Your peer mentor, Rayanne, has dropped a few little goodies on our Canvas site. You'll notice that her peer mentor profile, super similar to my instructor profile, only for Rayanne. She's posted that here. You guys can check it out. Also, you'll see that she posted an announcement for you. She's got some really good information about ways to keep in contact with her, especially this awesome app called GroupMe, which allows everybody in the GroupMe to kind of talk to each other, but also you can message Rayanne with quick questions or clarifications, anything you want to run by your peer mentor. She's here to support you. So you can see her announcement here. If you have any questions, make sure to give her a shout out. Okay, that takes me through logistics, I think. Checking my notes. Our last thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the concept of multiple drafts. So, whoops, wrong week. One of the things that you're going to read this week is one of my all-time favorite readings, Shitty First Drafts by Anne Lamott. And as you're reading this piece, I would like you to pay attention to how she talks about multiple drafts. So she's a writer. She's published lots of books, lots of articles, and I think it's great how she is able to talk so honestly about her own writing process. But that's the key. She's got a writing process. So as I pull up this PDF, I'm just kind of gonna skim through it a little bit and talk with you guys about how Anne Lamott frames her own writing process. Because she doesn't just sit and, as she says, take dictation from God. She's not one of those people who feels like, oh, it just flows right out of me. And honestly, how many people do you know who can write like that? I don't really know many. Not me. So here's the thing. All writers struggle. All writers have a hard time getting those words out. She says, I think, that we often feel like we are pulling teeth, right? It feels painful sometimes. It feels difficult. But one of the ways that she gets around this difficulty is with the concept of shitty first drafts. So I want you guys to pay attention to that. She has a really great example that starts on page 23 of a specific time when she was writing. And she walks us through her multiple drafts. And the reason I want you to pay attention to how she describes her drafting process is because this is the model that we are going to use in English 1020 for our multiple drafts. So in other words, I'm going to ask you guys to write a shitty first draft of Project One. Then I'm going to talk to you about it, give you a little bit of feedback, and then I'm going to ask you to fix it up to, as I think Anne Lamott calls it, the updraft. You fix it up, and that's going to be what you peer review together. Then she talks a little bit about once she's got that decent second draft, she really focuses in on the nitty-gritty details. She calls it the dental draft. Can't you just feel the little scraper from the dentist on your teeth? Oh, it gives me a little bit of shivers. But it's a good analogy for when we really get in there and start to fiddle and fix just the little nitpicky things. That's the final draft that I want you guys to submit to me. Something that's already been revised twice. The reason I have this built into our class is because it really is important. It's so valuable to be able to do multiple drafts, to get feedback on both drafts, to have not just one opportunity, but 2 opportunities to revise your piece. It really does make it stronger. Now, she talks a little bit at the end about what she does to kind of calm her inner critic or those voices in her head. And I just think this is so great because sometimes I battle with this too. Maybe you do. But when we're writing, sometimes it can get really difficult for us to even get the words out on paper if we're already critical of ourselves or afraid of if it's going to be any good. So check out what she says at the end about her strategies for this. And if you want to talk to me further about it, feel free to shoot me an email or come stop by my office during office hours. Okay, I think that's all I have for you guys. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. Enjoy your week 2 activities, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.